Hello, Cancer. Welcome to Soul Good. I'm Amber Marie, and this is your November 2022 Tarotscope. If you're curious about the decks that I'm using today, you can find a list of them in the description box below. You can also find links to my social media accounts, as well as links to information on personal readings and the Soul Good membership channel on Telegram. I am so excited to read for you today, Cancer, but before we do that, I would like to express that this is a general reading, not a personal reading, so please only take what resonates with you and leave the rest. I would also like to apologize for my absence last month. I was dealing with a lot of my own healing, and I just really didn't have the capacity to add anything else on top of it. So I do apologize for that. However, I would like to make up for it by time traveling back into October to see what you may have learned or healed from during last month and how you might have grown from that. Then we're going to come back into present, looking at what's coming for you for November, how it's going to help you moving forward, and also getting some guidance for you as well. So let's jump right in, Cancer, and see what's going on for you. Please, Father, Mother, Life, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves, what did Cancer learn or heal in October 2022, please? What did Cancer learn? Oh, wow. Okay, thank you. Yep. You got a big old pile over here. And I'm taking them. How have you grown, Cancer, because of these things? How has Cancer grown because of these things that they've learned or healed in October 2022? How has Cancer grown, please? How has Cancer grown? Okay, I'm going to pause for a moment because intuitively, I'm getting this energy of like you may, how do I word this? Like you may have learned a lot, and you may have been working on some healing, but I don't know that all of you have allowed yourselves to actually integrate that into your being yet, right? So it's interesting because I'm getting a little bit of resistance as I ask, how have you grown, right? And so I almost feel like some of you may be resisting what you've learned or have not fully integrated what it is you've learned yet, okay? How has what came in for Cancer in October 2022 helped them, or how will it help them? How will it help them, or how has it helped them grow, please? Nope. That was me. I do feel like there's something else here. How has what Cancer has learned or healed helped them to grow, or how will it help them grow, please? There it is. Yes. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, it feels like there's this energy here, Cancer, of like you may have learned something new, right? But you may have not yet integrated it or allowed yourself to learn or grow from it. Excuse me. So what's come in for Cancer for November, please? What's come in for Cancer for Yep, okay. What's come in for Cancer for November, please? What's come in for Cancer for... Yep, okay, thank you. I feel like some of your energies are scattered. You may have felt scatterbrained, maybe not quite like yourself. Actually, I'm getting this message of you could have felt or could be feeling like you're not in your body. I don't know if that makes any sense to any of you. Like it feels like, am I even here? Like I don't even know what's going on, right? It feels very kind of scattered and disoriented and a little bit lost even. So how will what's come in for November help you moving forward? How will what's come in for November help Cancer moving forward, please? thought so. Thank you. How will, okay, I'm taking them like, yep. It's like, these are it. Thank you. Can we have some guidance for Cancer moving forward through November and beyond, please? What guidance does Cancer need moving through the month of, okay, thank you. Moving through the month of November and beyond. Thank you. Okay, so let's take a look at October for you, Cancer. First, we have here the Bloom Creations Realized, Right Time, Harvest, and Celebrate. I do feel like for some of you, you've had some like small wins. Sorry, you guys, I hit the mic. I apologize if that was loud. I feel like you could have had some smaller wins, or what we as human beings would classify as smaller wins, through the month of October. And it doesn't necessarily feel like these are like physical manifestations, though that could apply as well. I feel like for many of you, there's been small wins in recognizing things about yourself, which is really interesting because it's not typically an energy that I would get coming from this card. But I feel like those things happened, or those realizations came in because it was the right time, right? Everything that we experience is divinely, or I shouldn't say everything, but a lot of what we experience is divinely orchestrated. And there is an element here of, it was the right time for you to learn what you did, or to gain the knowledge that you did at that time in order to help you to grow. Whether you utilized that and nurtured it is a completely different story, right? Each of you may feel differently about that. Maybe you feel like you did. Maybe you feel like, oh, wait, I learned a lot through, I don't know, maybe it was a reading. Maybe it was some sort of self-help class or book or personal growth book or something along those lines, right? Or maybe just someone dropped something into your awareness, like said, hey, this is this. And you're like, oh, wait, right? Like it made you think. I don't know, I just feel like you've been given some sort of access to some sort of new level of awareness or new bits of information. And when that occurred, it was the right time for that. Like you needed to hear those things. Again, whether or not you took that on and started to implement what you've learned into your life is another story entirely. However, I do feel like if you did see and acknowledge what was shown to you or given to you, I feel like there could have been cause for celebration, because it feels to me like that celebratory energy is one of, oh, now I get it, right? It's not so much oh, I need to throw a party for myself, but yeah, because it's not like about external celebration, okay? Or like having some sort of gathering. Like when I'm getting celebrate, I'm not getting anything in the physical. It feels very much so a personal thing, where you could have been like, oh, wow, that just clicked pieces together. And now I can move forward from it, or now it makes sense and I'm no longer swirling with these things in my brain, right? I just feel like it's this kind of celebration of relief, okay? Or feeling relieved because of what you've learned and gained, and it clicking those puzzle pieces together, or putting it right in front of your face. And maybe it's something that you haven't had the ability to see previously, okay? We also have here for you the return, a new story. You decide, alignment, it's coming together. Again, like I was saying, in October, I feel like you were given the opportunity to take these things that were being dropped into your awareness and had the opportunity to essentially write yourself a new story, to take what you've learned and allow it to transform you, allow it to give you that second chance. But whether or not you did that, again, was a decision, right? So if you're like, I don't get it, like I'm still in the same spot, it's because the door was open and you didn't step through it, right? You may have like put your toe in and they're like, I don't know, right? But it feels like you did not fully walk through that threshold, okay? But for those of you who saw those things and started to really, think about them or try to dive deeper into your own being, I feel like you've had some realizations about yourself. And again, those things I feel are bringing you into alignment with a higher vibrational frequency, with who you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to be doing, right? It's helped to put you on that path. And it's fascinating as shit because I was talking about putting the pieces together. What does that say? I hope you can read that. It's coming together, right? The pieces are coming together, or you were given the opportunity for that in October, right? So, I mean, some of you may have been sitting there scratching your head looking at the pieces like, I don't know where they go, right? And if you were given that awareness, that knowledge, if you didn't know where they go, it was because you were choosing to not put them where they go, right? You guys, I said in Gemini's reading that I'm probably going to lose followers because of this. I mean, if I do, I do. It is what it is, God's will, right? But you guys, it's like some of these readings are pulling out all the stops because I feel like for many of us, we need that, hey, are you fucking paying attention? Because I'm trying to get you where you need to be. And if you continue to just ignore or deny what you're being shown, you're not going to be able to align. Right. So I feel like Spirit's coming through a little feisty for this month because it's like, I'm trying to get you where you need to be. Can you please see that? Can you please take initiative? It's not going to just happen on its own. You have to put effort in. God will show you the door, but he can't shove you through it. Right. And we have the sun, joy, enjoyment, life force, success, vitality, and play. So what's really fascinating about this, okay, is as I was shuffling, I had one card from the tarot fall into my lap, and it was the sun card. So that's really fucking interesting to me because I feel like it was like, oh, this is what's coming, right? But I also feel like it's, how do I word this? I was just speaking on how that door has been opened for many of you in October, and some of you chose to walk through, some of you didn't. For those of you who chose to walk through that door, I feel like you may have experienced a new kind of oomph brought back into your life, or into your being rather, right? You may have started to feel differently about yourself, how you move through the world, how you feel about the world, how you interpret the world, your perspective, right? And I feel like it could have given you this kind of, like I said, like a oomph, like a charge, like a battery jump, if you will. And you could have found yourself enjoying things that maybe you didn't previously, or finding joy in things that maybe weren't of any interest to you, right? Or didn't move you in that way previously. Okay. And I feel like it's because it's opening. Like I'm actually seeing it very much like these flowers here, right? Like they're kind of hard to see because they're very pastel in color, and unfortunately the light kind of drowns them out a little bit, but you know, I'm seeing it kind of opening up like a flower. It's like you gave yourself the opportunity to experience life differently than you have in the past. For those of you who didn't walk through that door, right, who were fearful or you know, whatever it is, I feel like you still have that opportunity available to you this month, which is why that fell into my lap, right? But that's not to, I mean, it's going to take you putting your life force behind what you've been given and utilizing it, implementing it into your life. And it's to help to bring you into better alignment with these things. Okay. So like, I don't want you feeling like, oh, well, shit, now my opportunity is gone. No, that's not how God works, right? Like God will keep trying to show you the door over and over and over and over again, no matter how many fucking times it takes. Right. So know that the opportunity has not, you know, completely eluded you. You could very well find yourself in that experience of joy, pleasure, happiness, success, vitality, right? Purpose, so long as you decide to do so. You also have here the sacred union, beloved within. What was I saying? Inner and outer relationships. Again, I feel like even if you don't realize that this is what has been taking place, right? If you're not fully aware of it, I feel like for many of you, there has been this attention drawn to that relationship that you have with yourself. And I feel like it's been trying to show you things about you. Now, if you're someone who has been in your egoic drives primarily, you would have very likely struggled to see any of it because you have to be willing to look at yourself. You have to be willing to look at your circumstances, how you impact the world, how it impacts you, right? And so it takes a lot of self-analyzation. I don't even know if that's a fucking word, but there it is. It takes a lot of introspection. It takes you really examining your own thoughts, your behaviors, your habits, right? And honoring what you feel and what you know to be true within you. So I definitely feel like there's been a highlight, if you will, on the relationship that you have with yourself and working on building that. Many of you could have even found yourself like adapting new hobbies or sticking to hobbies, right? That maybe you hadn't in the past or something because it's like, I need to do this for me, right? Like let's say you started a diet or something and it's something that you've struggled with for a long time and all of a sudden it just seems to be sticking. It's like, I feel like there's been like this shift in your ability to kind of maintain that. And I think it's because you're seeing how important or how imperative your relationship with yourself is. Right. And it's fascinating because I do feel like for 2023, we're moving towards this energy of soul sovereignty. So it makes perfect fucking sense that what you may have had highlighted in your life are things to help you to not be attached to other shit that isn't valuable for your experience, right? Or that there's been this highlight on things to say, hey, we need to get you in a space where you are also considering yourself and your own happiness. Right now, I'm not saying that means you could just run around and fuck everybody else and do whatever the hell you want just because you feel like it. I'm not talking moving from an egoic place. I'm talking about having this sense of love for yourself where you understand that how you feel directly impacts how you experience the world, which can in turn essentially create a monster if you're allowing those things to run you, master you, right? And don't have a hold on them and aren't able to essentially, what is the word I'm looking for? It's like you're not able to get in line or move closer to things that actually do improve your life experience. And I feel like there's been this highlight of that. Like, hey, you need to be focused on you things, right? And you may have even found yourself through the month of October wanting, a little bit more alone time, maybe, or so maybe you were doing your own hobbies, your own things, right? Now, there is another message here for many of you, or I shouldn't, yeah, okay, for a lot of people who have had those external relationships highlighted as well. You may have found yourself losing people through the month of October. You may have found people just kind of finding the exit out of your life without much of any explanation at all. Or you may have found yourself drifting from people without really any explanation, right? And I feel like it's because there is this element of only the relationships that are important to your growth are trying to stick around, right? And so the ones that are not meant to be sticking around, you could have found conflict in, right? And I feel like it's because, again, first of all, like how you feel about you impacts the world around you, okay? And how you see it. And then how others interact with you, their impact that they have on your life, I feel like has been trying to be shown to you as well, right? So you could have found yourself, again, drifting away from those that just don't align with you or are not meant to linger in your life, right? But I do feel like those that could have gotten special attention through the month of October, right? And you could have even found yourself maybe experiencing a little bit of conflict or things. And I feel like it was kind of to clear the air a bit around, some maybe lingering lower vibrational frequencies within the relationship dynamic that needed to be expressed and released. Because I feel like, again, there's this big push for us to only be holding on to what really fucking matters in relation to our journey here. Okay, not the bullshit programming nonsense fuckery that we've been taught should be important, but what's actually important for our soul's journey and growth. So how has all of this helped you grow? You have the fates here. I feel like for some of you, you've decided to just let fate decide, right? I feel like some of you were shown like, oh, this must be fate. This is God working, right? Even if it's not something big, even if it's not something like grandiose or some huge physical manifestation of God showing up in your life, I feel like there have been moments, even if you have not realized it yet or integrated it yet, I feel like you are learning or were put in positions to be able to grow in the understanding that there is something much larger at play than just you, right? God, source, universe, whatever you want to, the fates, whatever you want to refer to it as. I feel like you could have seen them working in your life. Maybe some things just happen to work out okay, right? Like maybe there were situations where you're like, oh God, I don't know how this is going to go. And then by happenstance, right, it just worked out. And you're like, wait a minute, how did that happen? Right? I feel like some of you are learning or learned and have grown through this in the sense of being able to surrender more. I'm not saying that you're able to fully just let God have it all. But I feel like you are essentially opening up to that or have opened up to that through the month of October and likely continuing forward as we move through the rest of the year as well. And you have happy, right? So I was saying, for those of you that were resisting, right? Like you may have not experienced this happy kind of energy, right? Because that's what happened. Like you resist and God finds ways to, for lack of better terms, throw it up in your face to say, hey, you need to work on this. I'm showing you this. These things are happening so you can address this problem, right? And it's not to say that God's putting that on your shoulders, right? But it does take effort. It takes you being willing to do those things, okay? In order to essentially reap the rewards, right? You reap what you sow. So if you're, denying and like pushing away and all those things, you're going to find that your external experience is also closed off. Okay. Your relationships with others is also closed off. When you tighten yourself up to the world, to God, to people, you separate yourself, right? You create that separation, which severely is the word I'm getting, limits your abilities to experience things that you should be experiencing, like happiness, like joy, like essentially magic or God working in your life, right? But for those of you who did embrace this, right, I feel like you have found or come to some sort of understanding that you are a co-creator of your reality, and you and the fates or God, source, are working together to bring that into fruition, to bring that forward. Okay. And I think that's really beautiful. I don't know why I'm getting this, but for some of you in October, some you may have seen like shooting stars, which if that's the case, there's probably a big message here for you if you resonate with that. Or if the star is something of extreme significance for you, there could be definitely something in here for you as well. You also have milk and honey. So what's so fucking beautiful about this, Cancer, is that, a lot of what came through here seemed a bit heavy, okay? Um, in the sense of looking at yourself is always a challenge. Okay. It's always a challenge. No one likes to see where they've been shitting on themselves. No one likes to see where they've been sabotaging their own happiness. No one likes to see where they've been responsible for the things they've experienced. And a lot of people don't like taking that responsibility. So, it's not easy by any means. I'm not ever going to claim that it is, but that's kind of what we have up here. And then beneath that, right, how have you grown? We have all of this beautiful, positive, light-filled energy coming in with the fates, with happy, happy, and now with milk and honey. Right? For those of you who acknowledge what you've learned and were trying to integrate it, trying to allow it to help you to move forward, I feel like, again, you've gotten some tastes of that milk and honey, like I was referring to up here, right? You could have gotten some smaller victories, as it were, things just kind of working out, right? When you were maybe concerned that they wouldn't, or put some extra stress on yourself that maybe it wouldn't work. So I feel like, and there's a lot of rainbow type of energy, so know that you are protected, or how do I word this? Yeah, you're protected, because the rainbows, that's what the rainbows, excuse me, signifies, that divine protection. But I feel like you've opened up to there being some larger force at work in your life. And essentially, if this relates with you, if you're resonating with this, I feel like you have felt a sense of protection, right? Like a sense of, okay, I'm not saying you feel invincible, but you may have felt like, oh, like God's looking over me, or like God must have been watching over me for that. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like there's an element of feeling like you are being watched over, and are getting a taste of that milk and honey. So for November, you got the love, Hadarian energy, codependency, and boundaries. Okay. So first of all, I want to lovingly say, Cancer, I feel like in the month of November, you may have or can experience this. No. Let me backtrack just a bit. Experience situations that are meant to show you that you need boundaries, that you need to create distance between yourself and others. Now, let me lovingly tell you, Cancer, because you guys are so loving, okay? You guys are so compassionate, right? At your best, you're unconditionally loving, you're supportive, you're nurturing, right? Very healing even, okay? And I think this is a very good card for you to come out for you guys, because I feel like many of you just dump your heart and soul into just all the things, and it's just, okay, I'm just going to keep dumping and dumping and dumping and dumping and dumping and dumping, and you don't stop to pick the cup up and drink for your fucking self, right? You don't stop. It's like you don't wait long enough for people to dump back into your cup. You just keep going, right? And so I feel like this is very important in the month of November, again, because of this soul sovereignty that has been coming up, right? Saying like, oh, and it's been showing up in my monthly readings, or my membership readings, excuse me, for quite some time now. Okay. And I feel like this is where we're being guided to, is this soul sovereignty, which this would make sense for it to come up for you guys, because again, you guys will dump and dump and dump and dump into people and situations with so much love and so much compassion and so much care, and then you don't wait for it to come back, or you don't even pause to fill your own cup, right? You just dump. And so I feel like moving into this energy of soul sovereignty, being that this is the month of November, being that soul sovereignty is coming up, right? That energy is going to continue through 2023. I feel like this is what God's trying to get you to see, like, hey, you need to establish some boundaries, because you cannot keep dumping like this, right? It's like, I admire, Cancer, how much love you have. I admire how you pour so beautifully into other people. But you cannot pour from an empty cup, and you will run yourself ragged if you don't start paying attention to you, if you don't start creating these boundaries. Now, for some of you, it's a codependent situation, right? Because for some of you, I feel like that's the way you feel seen, right? Like the only way, so if I were speaking from a Cancer's perspective with the energy that I'm getting right now, it would be something along the lines of the only way that I am seen and recognized and appreciated is if I'm dumping into other people or situations. And I think that's something that some of you really, really need to think about, because it's like you are codependent on that, right? Because it's like, if I don't do these things, I don't feel seen. I don't feel heard. I don't feel loved. I don't feel important. I don't feel like I matter. I don't feel valuable. I don't feel, I don't feel any of those things, right? And so it's like, I feel like God's trying to say, like, hey, you need to find out and figure out that you matter without feeling like the only reason you matter is because you dump into people. Cancer, some people just like your fucking company. Some people enjoy your smile. Some people enjoy the fact that you are just a beautiful soul and they just want to, spend time with you. Not that you have to do anything for them, right? But just be there. And the people who appreciate that are going to understand and are going to encourage you to give back to yourself. Some of you need to find hobbies that are only about you, things that you love to do, and you need to be devoted to that. Make it something that is important, that's a priority. Like, oh, excuse me, sir, on Wednesdays I have book club. Bye. Or excuse me, on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I go to the fucking gym for 2 hours. Bye. That's my motherfucking time. Don't bother me. Right? You also have here, you're not for everyone. You're not. Right? November, you're not for everyone. Embrace your weirdness. Face your true north. The people who are meant to be around you, Cancer, will be around you. They're going to stick around. Those are your people. The people who are going to shun you or feel some type of way because you're like, look, I can't keep dumping into you. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I need me time right now. And the people that aren't understanding that, like, there's the fucking door. Because I want to lovingly tell you that if you're dumping and dumping and dumping into fucking people and you feel like there's no reciprocation from that, even if it's just sitting with you, I don't even care if you don't fucking say shit, but just being with you in this experience we call life, right? If they need something from you in order to like you, that's not your fucking people. That's narcissistic bullshit, and they're feeding off of your empathy, off of your loving, caring nature. And that is garbage. That is you betraying yourself, you dishonoring yourself and allowing them to do it as well. And they will be shitty as fuck when you take that away from them because they are feeding off of you, right? So understand, I feel like God, universe, the creator, whatever you refer to it as, is telling you, listen, you have such a beautiful soul, but understand, some people do not appreciate that. Some people are not as much as it, like, I don't necessarily like this word. I don't really have another way to say it right now, but some people are just not worthy, right? They're just not. And I know that sounds really fucking arrogant, but I just don't, like, I'm you hear how I'm like tripping over my words right now, because every part of me is like, this is some asshole-ish shit, right? Like, some people are just narcissists and they're just feeding off of you, and that disturbs my soul on so many levels for you, right? So it's like, understand you are not for everyone. And some of these people that you have dumped into have been sucking the life out of you. Quite literally. And forge, don't follow, pave a new path, be the leader you wish you had. I more than anything feel like for you, Cancer, this is pave a new path. This is you writing a new story. Again, God is showing up saying, I'm giving you a chance to write a new story, to pave a new path, to take a new route, experience something different. And for many of you, you may not have had, and look at, I don't know if you can see this, you guys, because it is hella light in this card, but there is, oh, I don't think you can see it. I can't see it when I'm holding the camera up, or the card up to the camera, but there is a rainbow here as well. So your journey is being protected, and the people that God is shoving out of your life, the people that you're being shown to be narcissists, to be those energetic vampires, if they're dropping out of your life like fucking flies, that is God protecting you. I have to say that right here, right now. So if you bring them back in, you're like denying God's love for you, saying, nope, I don't want it. That's okay, God. I'll just keep these fucking snakes in my life. Right? I'm just saying. Because once you know, you know. If you don't know, there's nothing you can do about it. You don't know any better, right? So you forgive yourself for that. But once you know, you keep making that decision, it's a fucking choice then, and you are a party to your own suffering, your own pain, your own dissatisfaction, right? So you do what you want with it. I'm not trying to be like all downy brownie here, but it is a choice. And I feel like you're being given the opportunity to take a chance or make the choice to experience something different. Okay? To move to greener pastures, because there's more things, better things that await you should you choose to take the initiative for yourself. Notice there's nobody else. And I'm getting burpy fear energy because I feel like a lot of you could potentially fear being alone, which is maybe why you don't drop some of these people that you know you need to. But look at all of these cards. I mean, this, it looks like there's several people, but it's really just like the same person, right? But look at, these are singular beings. There's not two people in these cards, any of them. Why do you think that is? Because it's supposed to be about you. You're supposed to be focusing on you, right? Actually, I'm going to move these up here so that I can see these tarot cards a bit better because we have a lot of them. So let's dive in and see how this is going to help you moving forward. All right, with the tarot, Two of Wands, make a choice. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable, Cancer, because that's the only way you're going to move forward. End of story. Like, I really don't have nothing much past that, right? It's you needing to choose. Stop staring out the window and fucking go outside, right? Make that choice. Justice. This is hilarious to me, right? Because it's like, make the choice to move forward, okay? With the Justice card, it's a representation, first of all, of truth, okay? Clarity, fairness. It's also associated with law. But I feel like for your reading here, Cancer, this is about making a decision, being okay with being uncomfortable, making a decision to move forward, which creates this cause and effect. Okay, so you choosing to honor your truth, you choosing to take a step has repercussions, right? And based on what's come through so far, should you choose to honor yourself, you're likely to experience a lot of fucking good times, my friend. Happy times, milk and honey times, right? Sweet, nourishing times, okay? You're likely to see God at work in your life. That's the effect of you choosing to move forward, of you choosing to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Okay? In addition, again, it's about honoring that truth and moving forward with that truth in mind. Okay? 10 of Wands in the reverse. So this is an energy of, like, here's the thing. I want to lovingly say, like, you can keep sitting inside the house, staring out the fucking window, not making the decisions that you need to make in order to better yourself because you're afraid of being uncomfortable. And you can continue to feel stressed. You can continue to feel burnt out. You can continue to feel like you're just burdened and there's no up, there's no relief, right? You can continue to feel that way. I also get the feeling here, like for some of you, and I'm not here to like try to convince you of my beliefs. You're going to believe whatever you believe is true for you. But I do want to lovingly say that you have likely been carrying burdens you're not fucking meant to carry anyhow. Right? Because the 10 of Wands can be this energy of like being unwilling to delegate to other people so you're not carrying all the shit on your own. And oftentimes when this card shows up, it's that message of, why don't you hand a little bit of your shit to God, lay it at God's feet so God can carry what God is meant to be carrying. And you don't feel like you're this ox or whatever it is carrying these huge freaking satchels of bullshit that you're not supposed to be carrying anyhow. Right? So I feel like some of you, it's like you can choose to do that or you can continue to feel the stress. But I feel like if you decide to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, face your fears, if you decide to pursue your truth and honor that truth, right? I think you will find yourself feeling less stressed, less burnt out because you're on a path that is aligned with you. You're not swimming upstream, you're flowing down a river, which is where you're supposed to be going with the flow of your life instead of swimming against the current because it's not meant for you to go that fucking way. Right? You have, damn, Daniel. You have the Queen of Swords here as well. And to be quite frank, she's kind of the bitch of the tarot. I'm not going to lie. She's savage as fuck. Because she, in the upright, the Queen of Swords is like, I know my truth. I know my shit. And you're not going to tell me otherwise. Right? Like I have a very clear idea of what's happening here. I'm very intelligent. I'm very careful. I know my shit. In the reverse, it's like, shh. She's, well, really, she's just kind of a bitch. Like, not, she's like a bitch, but without the truth. She's just a bitch, right? So, I mean, really, like, life can feel like a bitch because you're not clear on what you want. You're not following your truth. You're just kind of here. And that can make things, or that could make the world feel, especially in what you experience, feel very bitter and cruel and cold. But it's because you're not living in your truth. 9 of Pentacles. It's going to take work. But if you can put down if you can see the truth, okay, with this Justice card here, if you can see the truth that you've been carrying shit that you shouldn't be, that you've been burdening yourself with shit that you have no business burdening yourself with, if you can see the truth that you have not been clear-minded, that you have not had that truth, that you haven't been rather living in your truth, and it has been causing you to experience the world in a very cold, cruel, bitter kind of way, if you can see all of those things and allow yourself to do that as we move forward, I feel like how this is going to help you is by you're going to get the rewards of that, right? Cause and effect. Like making the decision to move away from these things and being truthful about them is going to reap you the rewards of that spiritual, material abundance. And you have milk and honey already here, right? I'm just saying, the opportunity is here for you, but you have to be willing to make that choice. Otherwise, you're just going to experience the same thing. Yeah, it's going to require you to okay. Hold on. I'm getting a couple of things. One being, it's going to require you to take responsibility, I feel, for any of your anger, your recklessness, right? Whether it's with your like, I feel like it could be with your recklessness or anger, with your energy, with your emotions, like anything you may have experienced. I feel like these are things that you're going to need to drop, right? In the upright, the Knight of Wands is very fearless. It's like the Knight is ready to take action. It's ready for the adventure. In the reverse, it's this energy of being impulsive and angry and reckless, right? It's not so much the fearlessness and taking action. It's like, I'm just running around all fucking willy-nilly, hot-tempered and not thinking things through, right? So, I mean, here's the thing of it, Cancer, like, you get what you're putting into it. And if you're just running around your life all willy-nilly, not being intentional about how you're moving and what you're doing, that's what you're going to experience, right? But I do feel like there's an element here of, for some of you, and maybe it won't resonate with everyone, of needing to put down your anger, of needing to take responsibility for that, right? And allow yourself to heal, working through that. So, guidance moving forward for you, Cancer, you have 3 messages here. The first has a key, which is interesting. Unlock your magic. Okay. The message is this: dearest you, going the extra mile to achieve your dreams and putting in some overtime will reap big rewards. I mean, it's pretty much God saying, I said what I said. If you put the work in, you're going to get the payoff, right? Now is the time for you to act, to stir up some energy and put those plans into action. There are many windows of opportunity that open, but close quickly when you don't take the risk and go for it. Today, be confident that your hard work will pay off and you'll feel that satisfaction and fulfillment of reaching your desired outcome. It might turn out even better than you expected. Isn't that amazing? Remember, however much work you're willing to put in, we will match it tenfold on our end. Everyone over here is rooting for you to win the game of life. So just do it. Loving you so, so much. Right? So again, you guys, you cannot make this shit up, right? This is really about you, like I was saying, taking that initiative to do these things for you, because no one else is going to do them. Spirit will meet you, right? Spirit will help you to co-create things, but you have to be willing to put the work in. You also have here celebrate life with what appears to be some form of angel on the front. And it says, dear you, there are times in life when taking a risk is better left for another day. Other times are perfect for taking that leap, no matter how dangerous it might seem. Well, hold on to your parachute strings, for today is leap time. Realize that no matter what, we will not let you fall, drown, get lost, or hurt yourself in any way on this one. Even if it may feel like you are in a free fall, we are here for you. And we are here for you, and you can stop freaking out about getting hurt and relax into this transition to something new. All the elements, are in place, and your soul is ready for a new experience. No matter what you're asking about, it's time to take the risk and do that thing that scares you. No matter what happens, you will land softly, right on target. Don't worry about the outcome. Spirit's got that covered. It's taking the leap itself. That's the point. We love your courage. Embrace it. So again, right? If there's anything, Cancer, that you've been thinking, maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that, What are you waiting for? If not now, when? If not now, when? Time's not waiting for you, right? The universe is not just going to stand still while you stand still. So you can take the risk and leap, put in the work, knowing that spirit is supporting you, and experience incredible rewards and change, or you can remain the same, which if you're comfortable where you are, by all means, keep doing the same thing. But if you've been asking yourself, why do I keep experiencing the same shit over and over? Why do I feel dissatisfied? Why do I not feel fulfilled? Maybe it's because you're not following your truth. Whatever the fuck that is. Okay? And finally, there's another angel on the front of this card, and it says, live your dreams. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, right? Based on what we've had come through here for you. The message here from this card is this. Dear you, human beings spend a huge percentage of life asleep, not just in bed, but the kind where you forget you are a spiritual, immortal being taking on a temporary human form. It's not your fault. Everyone suffers from spiritual amnesia once in a while. As you develop an identity, an ego, you begin to see through the eyes of a small self and have less connection to your soul self. You may not recognize this is going on, but you sure can feel it. We're here to remind you to look through your soul's eyes and see that magic is everywhere. Infinite potential lies in spirit, who is teaming with you to fulfill the contract you made to contribute to the evolution of the whole world. Wake up and remember that all the help you need is orchestrated in the invisible realms. Your mind, in alignment with divine intelligence, is unstoppable. The world is yours to co-create. You are so loved, and we are all behind you. So Cancer, what a beautiful message to close out your reading, because it is essentially letting you know now is the time. Now is the time. What are you waiting for? You have a vast amount of support behind you. Each of these cards has said, we're right here. We're waiting for you to, we're waiting. We want to help you. You have the fates. You have all of this energy coming in to say, if you should only choose, you could experience something completely different. Even in the freaking tarot with the Nine of Pentacles showing up to say there is spiritual and material abundance, should you choose to put the fucking work in. And that's beautiful. If this were a reading for me, I would be hopeful as shit. It would give me hope, right? Because it would show me that door is not closed. I still have options here. I still have opportunities here. There's still potential here for me to experience an entirely different reality. But if I put the work in, if I decide that I'm going to allow this creator, source, whatever you call it, to help me navigate my life and better align me with my purpose. I think this is beautiful, and I hope you do too. If there was something in today's reading that resonated with you, I would really like to ask you to do the YouTube things by liking, sharing, and or subscribing. It does help the channel to grow, and I truly am so very grateful for that. Tells YouTube, hey, there might be something here that someone else may want to see. So thank you for doing that. Whatever comes your way this month, Cancer, I want you to know that even though some of those messages came through in a bit of a harsh manner or a very direct manner, I have so much love for you guys. I really, really do. You guys are absolutely beautiful souls, but sometimes we need, myself included, that kind of like from our divine creator to say, wake up and see who the fuck you are, right? So I want you to know that nothing that I've said to you in this reading is personal. Nothing that I've said to you in this reading comes from a place of malice or ill regard or anything. It comes from a place of love and wanting you to see that same potential within yourself. Whatever it is you face this month, please know that you absolutely 100% have got this, and God has got you. Take care of your beautiful, beautiful soul, and I hope to see you on the next one.